Hi, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. So today we are going to be going over my list of my 2024 most anticipated new releases. These ones are all going to be like trad published. I am compiling a list of indie published right now of stuff that I have my eye on, but I want to reach out to a couple people still to see if there's anything that I feel like I'm missing, because I really want to get into more indie and self-published books in the next year, but that's besides the point for this one. Today we are focusing on trad published. These are in no particular order, not even by release date, because I just went a little bit crazy and I don't feel like organizing them in order of release date. So we're just gonna go crazy with it. I will say that the vast majority of these are queer, because that is something that I am quite particular about, but I also do have some sequels on my list. There are some books that I did not put on my list that are sequels that are coming out, but I have not read their first books yet. On this list is not the sequel to Godkiller or the next Gideon the Ninth book, because I am not up to date with those series yet. I am hoping to be, but I'm just not there yet. So that is why you won't see some of those sequels on there. So I have gone through this list and I am almost positive that none of these books are from St. Martin's Press or an imprint of them. I did try my best to double check, but if you see something that is breaking the boycott, please let me know. I am participating in the St. Martin's Press boycott. I will not be speaking about any books that are coming out. So I did do my best to try and make sure, but if I messed something up, if you see something in here that is for St. Martin's Press or under one of their imprints, please let me know so I can fix that. I don't want to be promoting their books at the moment, seeing as St. Martin's Press is putting forth their beliefs at this point in time with their lack of statement. So, but with that, I guess let's just kind of get right into it. So I read my first S.T. Gibson book this year. I believe it was Diary of Blood, and it wasn't perfect for me, but I really learned that I enjoyed S.T. Gibson's writing. So S.T. Gibson has Evocation coming out on May 28th of 2024. Do I know anything about this one? Not really. First of all, the cover, gorgeous, stunning, everything. It is not YA, I don't think it is, and I know that it's a fantasy. So I think this has something to do with a demon coming and collecting on a deal that was made by the main character's ancestors. And I believe this has, it's kind of like the main character and then like an ex-lover, and then I believe that there's like a wife to be dealt with. So I think that's the kind of vibe for it. It seems super interesting. I love S.T. Gibson's writing, and sticking with S.T. Gibson, their newest release that will be coming out is coming out on February 13th, and it is An Education in Malice. This, I believe, has to do with like a school in Massachusetts. I don't really know what else. Honestly, I'm only picking it up because it's S.T. Gibson and also because the cover is gorgeous, but S.T. Gibson seems to always have beautiful covers. Kind of that like gothic vibe, which I do love a good gothic vibe. Speaking of authors that I became obsessed with this year, we have a new T. King Fisher novel that is coming out on February 13th, and it is What Feasts at Night. It is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. It's very convenient that that was right there. Now, What Moves the Dead was like a retelling based on the fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. It was mushroom horror. I love mushroom horror. Do I know where this sequel is going? Absolutely not. But you know what? It's another mushroom horror. It's another gothic mushroom horror. So that's all I really need to know. Along with T. Kingfisher, I think that I have read like 4 or 5 of their books this year alone. So I think that I'm just on a kick. I think that I need to catch up on the backlist and I need to keep going. So That comes out on February 13th. We have a new to me author coming out on February 27th, and it is Remedial Magic by Melissa Marr. This synopsis is just adorable. It says, Ellie loves working in her local library in the small town of Ligonier. She loves baking scones and investigating the mysterious and captivating in her spare time. And there is nothing more mysterious and captivating than the intriguingly beautiful, too properly dressed woman sipping tea in her library who has appeared as if out of nowhere. The pull between them is undeniable, and Ellie is not sure that she wants to resist. Prospero, a powerful witch from the magical land of Crenshaw, is often accused of being ruthless in her goals and ambitions, but she is driven to save her dying homeland, and a prophecy tells her that Ellie is the key. Unbeknownst to Ellie, her powers have not yet awakened, but all that is about to change. That just sounds adorable. It sounds like a cute little sapphic library romance, and also a little bit fantasy. So honestly, just sign me right up for that. No question involved. Okay, next we have The Titanic Survivors Book Club by Timothy Schaeffert, and that is coming out on April 2nd. What has gotten me is this cover. This green and gold cover is gorgeous. I believe that this is about a main character who like survives disastrous events by like jumping into books. If I'm not incorrect, I don't really know that much about it. Obviously the cover is beautiful. It seems super interesting. It is queer, I believe. And I think that it's been compared to like The Picture of Dorian Gray. I did read this year and I did hate it just for how insufferable the main character is, so hopefully it's not like that. But I'm gonna give it a try still. I'll probably get that one from the library. Oh, okay, this one very well might be my most anticipated release for 2024. It might be #1, and it is not queer, but it is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna. That is coming out April 2nd, 2024. And that is like the next book in the world of the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I read this year and I was obsessed with. Sangu Mandanna is a fantastic writer. I love her. I love her storytelling. I love that it feels cozy and homey and wonderful. And I have no idea what this book is going to be about, but it is going to be an immediate buy for me because this was perfect. So I'm just kind of expecting that to also be perfect. Sometimes you need those sweet cozy vibes, and she is just that vibe, and I just adore her so much. So the next book we have is by Andrew Joseph White. It does not have a cover yet, and it is not coming out until later in the year of 2024, but it is Compound Fracture, and that is coming out September 3rd. Andrew Joseph White is an author that I found this year through, I believe, Hell Follows With Us, which I did read and I did like, but it wasn't perfect for me. It was a better option for my partner, but I'm still waiting to read his next book, which I think is going to be more for me, which is The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, which is about an autistic trans Victorian kid who deals with ghosts. And that sounds much more my vibe. And the synopsis to this sounds like my vibe. So it is a gut-wrenching story following a trans autistic teen who survives an attempt of murder, only to be drawn into the generational struggle between the rural poor and those who exploit them. I believe, I am like 99% sure that this is set in Appalachia, like in that region, the Appalachian region. And for some reason, that region has been calling to me for like the past 6 months, not in me wanting to go there. I will not go there because I lack common sense. I lack a lot of common sense. And you know what? That's the kind of area where if I go there and I'm not really like aware of my surroundings, that's how I get attacked by some old creature. Some scary, scary creature. Because scary things happen in that region because that region is so goddamn old. That is like one of the oldest fucking regions. So I won't go there. I won't fuck with that region like that. But am I super interested in the lore of that region and the stories that the people who live there have to tell? Oh my god, yes. And you know what else I'm super interested in right now? Appalachian folk music. It's just the best. So this comes at the perfect time. I know that this isn't out for like another like 9 months, But with the way that this is like grabbing onto my heart, I believe that Appalachia is going to be like a special interest of mine for quite a while. So I'm just going to be patiently waiting for this. The next one also does not have a cover and also does not actually have like a synopsis. I found this like hidden away on some random site. I can't find a lot about it, but it is a new Talia Hibbert book that is supposed to be coming out, I heard, August 6th of 2024. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know anything else, but it is Skybriar. And she describes it as it's book 1 in my new series, the Skybriar series, which is a spin-off of Eve's book. It's set in the same town where Eve and Jacob live, and it is about the Montrose siblings. Pride and Prejudice stars Jacob's best friend, Marr. He has to fake a relationship to increase his chances of inheriting the family pub that he's been running for a decade. When an old childhood friend comes back to town, she is very different and they don't get along, but they do end up faking a relationship. So that's what I know so far about it. I've only read like 1 or 2 Talia Hibbert books this year, but I'm still holding on to how much I loved the feelings of the Brown Sisters trilogy, and I just want that vibe again, desperately, and I'm having a hard time finding people who are putting out that vibe right now, because Ashley Herring Blake, I believe, just finished her trilogy, the Delilah Green trilogy. Helen Hoang, I am desperately waiting for Helen Hoang to put out more books, but she is not. I'm desperately looking for more books by Helen Hoang, because her trilogy, the Kiss Quotient trilogy, is one of my favorites. I love everything about it. I do love me some autistic romance. I can't find anything from her. Chloe Liese, I know she's putting out stuff right now, but I don't think anything could beat the book that she most recently put out at this point in my life. So it's all going on Talia Hibbert, where it's just like, please, start a new trilogy. Start a new series so I can fall in love with these characters, because I'm still working through her backlog. Nothing's hitting like the Brown Sisters trilogy. Next, we have A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft, which is supposed to release on December 17th of 2024. Honestly, I don't know what this is about, but this cover is just stunning and gothic, and it's just kind of everything to me. It just kind of draws me in. So I believe that this is about a folklorist, but that's kind of all I've got. It's supposed to be like gothic and dark and folky. So my next one is The Absinthe Underground by Jamie Pacton. I actually was able to snag a print of this cover for my walls. I don't have a frame for it yet, but the print is gorgeous. The cover is just stunning. It is so well designed. And it is a sapphic friends to lover romantasy that comes out on February 6th of 2024. Honestly, it's a cover buy for me. It's absolutely a cover buy for me. I mean, look at how gorgeous that is. I also feel like the author has done really good marketing on social media, which hella respect for. Like, your marketing's been pretty solid, at least for your target audience, because like a sapphic romantasy is like, I'm your target audience for that. So my next one is one that I actually just heard about, but I'm already incredibly excited about it, and it is Faebound by Saara El-Arifi. It comes out January 18th of 2024. I believe it's queer. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. This all just sounds amazing. I'm just super excited for it. I'm really excited that it's coming out so soon. The next one also comes out on January 18th. It is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. I have heard so much about this. This author has been like on her marketing game for this series on TikTok. A delicious debut that combines the swoon-worthy romance of Bridgerton and the whimsical sorcery of practical magic with a dash of the secret life of bees thrown in for good fun. Once you bring in practical magic, I feel like you've just kind of got me hooked. I loved practical magic. Bridgerton was fine. It was okay. I'm not obsessed with Bridgerton like everyone else is. I'm kind of excited about it, but I kind of feel like this one's going to be a library read for me, because I'm excited for it, but I'm still unsure. I feel like this one could be a TikTok like buzz book, which I'm always a little bit unsure about those, especially because the people I see talking about it are not some of the people that really focus on diversity for me. It's one that I'm unsure about. It's one that I will not just off the cuff buy myself, but I will try to find it from the library and I will give it a chance because I am interested in it, but I'm cautiously interested. So this next one is releasing on February 15th of 2024, and this one right here is absolutely... So it was originally a cover obsession, but then I started reading the synopsis and it was everything to me. And it is Meet Me at the Surface by Jodie Matthews. It is described as a haunting ode to Cornish folklore and the secrets of the places we call home. Oh my god. Okay, so I am obsessed with folklore. I love to like get little pieces of folklore from different communities, different people. So I'm super interested in this, and I believe it is also queer. And ultimately, this cover is just out of pocket stunning. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's beautiful. I'm super interested in whatever this is going to be because I know nothing about Cornish folklore. But I will be putting it in my arsenal because I'm super interested in it. So the next one, I don't have a ton to say about it. It is Heavenly Tyrant by Xiran Zhao. They wrote Iron Widow, so this is the sequel to Iron Widow. And I have not read Iron Widow yet, but I'm super interested in it. And I just found it on sale at Books A Million, so I did buy Iron Widow. So Heavenly Tyrant comes out on April 30th. I'm super interested in it. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited to know that this author is non-binary. I'm always looking for new non-binary authors for me to just add that to my collection. So I think it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited to hopefully read the first one before the second one comes out. Okay, so the next one is long awaited for, and it is Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Seanan McGuire. It comes out on January 9th. So I went through and I did a whole massive video where I read every single book in the Wayward Children series so far, and I broke it down. We talked about identities, we talked about writing, we talked about the style and the structure. So this one is about dinosaurs. This one is set at Eleanor School for Wayward Children. So this one is going to be set mostly at the school, it's going to revolve around the school and an adventure. So I'm super excited to see what happens with it. I love this entire series. I think that it's fantastic. So now we start to get into queer horror. I have really gotten into horror this year for some odd reason. I don't know what it is. And this one is We Ate the Dark by Mallerie Pearson. It comes out on March 5th of 2024, which is the day after my birthday. So I feel like this is a sign. So this is about 4 women who are investigating the haunting murder of their friend, and they discover more than they ever imagined in a terrifying novel about good and evil, love and death, and the spaces in between. This cover is beautiful. It is haunting. It makes me feel like this is going to be like a haunting house scenario or a haunted house scenario, and I'm really interested in that. And ultimately, I'm just always looking for queer horror. And I'm very specific about my horror because I'm not super into high gore or body horror or any of that. So I'm super excited for this to see if I can add this to my arsenal of paring down my perfect horror books. Oh my god, this one is a Lee Mandello book. I read Summer Suns this year, which I actually really enjoyed. So I'm super excited for this new Lee Mandello book because I believe that this is also Appalachian horror. The Woods All Black is a story of passion, prejudice, and power, an Appalachian period piece that explores reproductive justice and bodily autonomy, the terrors of small-town religiosity, and the necessity of fighting tooth and claw to live as who you truly are. The Woods All Black is equal parts historical horror, trans romance, and blood-soaked revenge, all set in 1920s Appalachia. This year is going to be the year of Appalachian horror, and I'm so ungodly excited for it. Oh my god. I feel like I can't even speak. I'm so excited for this book. You have no idea. I just found out about it a couple days ago, and it comes out March 19th, and I am ready to devour it. 1920s trans Appalachian horror. What else could I ever ask for? Nothing. If you haven't read a Lee Mandello book and you like horror, you really should. It's really good stuff. We have another author on here that I had this author on my list for most anticipated of 2023. I never got to their book. I'm still really interested in them as an author. So this one is Key Lime Sky by Al Hess. It comes out August 13th. So this is not the final cover, but it's like just a cute little placeholder. I'm super interested in it. I believe this is supposed to be like small town aliens and all of that stuff. And I believe that it's also queer. So it just looks cute. It looks cute. It looks soft. It looks like a sci-fi that I might be really interested in. And I'm also super picky about my sci-fi. I'm not super into sci-fi. So I'm just really interested in this. This one I am excited for, but very nervous about. This will be another one that I get from the library first, because this is Where Sleeping Girls Lie, Farida Abike Ayemade. It comes out on March 19th of 2024, and this is the same author who put out Ace of Spades, which I very sadly DNF'd, and it didn't really have anything to do with the writing style. I think that the story just wasn't for me. Everyone was pushing it out like a dark academia, like classic, like the newest thing, and it felt like Pretty Little Liars, like that kind of vibe. There were obviously better things in it than Pretty Little Liars, because Pretty Little Liars is pretty garbage. And I'm not going to say that Ace of Spades was garbage. I'm just saying that it wasn't the book for me. But it had that vibe, which was a vibe that I enjoyed when I was like 15, not a vibe that I enjoy when I'm 24. Which is why I just say that it's not a book for me. So Where Sleeping Girls Lie, I'm so interested in it, and I want to like it because I really liked this author's writing style. I really enjoyed that portion of it, even though I did not enjoy their last story. It is about a girl in a boarding school that discovers dark secrets and cover-ups after her roommate disappears, which gives me some of the same vibes as Catherine House, which I loved Catherine House. I thought that was a fantastic book. So I know that I can like boarding school books. It just has to be done a specific way, I guess. So I'm hoping that this is kind of that way. I don't really know that much about it. It comes out March 19th of 2024, and I definitely want to give it a chance, but I am going to get it from my library before purchasing it. So this is another horror, Dead Girls Walking by Sammy Ellis, which comes out on March 26th of 2024. It is queer and it is YA. A shocking, spine-chilling YA horror slasher about a girl searching for her dead mother's body at the summer camp that was once her serial killer father's home. Perfect for fans of Friday the 13th and White Smoke. First of all, I love Friday the 13th. Second of all, I'm obsessed with White Smoke. That made it onto my top 10 of 2023. So I'm just kind of going with that recommendation. I've heard a lot of like my diverse horror content creators, like my favorite ones, talk about this. I'm really excited for it. I think that it looks really interesting. I'm not always down for slashers, but I sometimes am. So pretty much when I bring up a horror on this list, it's like, okay, here's something that I don't always like, but I might like. Let's see if I can kind of squish down and kind of figure out what I really truly love in horror. I'm just really excited for it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think that this is one of the very few slashers that I will have on my list for 2024. So the next one is The Seventh Veil of Salome by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Silvia Moreno Garcia wrote Mexican Gothic, which I am obsessed with. It was a beautiful Gothic mushroom horror. So I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with her writing style. I still haven't gotten to The Doctor of Dr. Moreo by Silvia Moreno Garcia yet, but I'm planning to as soon as like I get back into that mood. But she is one of the few authors that I have in my arsenal that puts out like stories that are set in Mexico and pretty much any Latino country. So I really want to up that arsenal, diversifying where my books are set. She's like my go-to for that. And this is a 1950s Hollywood story. A young woman wins the role of a lifetime in a film about legendary heroine. The real drama is behind the scenes in this sumptuous historical epic from the author of Mexican Gothic. So I think that this is just going to be like 1950s drama filled, which is a vibe that I need in this world. It's not a kind of story that I want to consume often, but it is one where I'm like, oh, I could be into that right now. And like right now in my brain, I'm into that. Obviously I have to wait till July 16th, but I mean, obviously I'm gonna get it. It's Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Her writing is just stunning and lyrical and beautiful. So the next one I have, I'm super interested in the concept of it. I've never heard of this author, and this cover doesn't really do it for me, but the concept itself sounds really interesting. So this is The House on Biscayne Bay by Chanel Cleaton. It comes out on April 9th of 2024. And the concept is, as death stalks a gothic mansion in Miami, the lives of two women intertwine as the past and present collide in New York Times bestselling author Chanel Cleaton's atmospheric new novel. This cover's really not doing it for me, and it might be the peacock feathers, or it might be like the fade out of the mansion, but this cover is not the vibe for me, but I'm still interested in it. Another one that I would like rather get from the library first. The next one, I'm super in love with this cover. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's stunning. I think that this is ultimately just like something that I'm really drawn to, and it's Lore of the Wilds by Annalee Sabrana. It is to release on February 27th of 2024, and it is described as a library with a deadly enchantment, a Fae Lord who wants in, a human woman willing to risk it all for a taste of power. In a land ruled by ruthless Fae, 21-year-old Laura Elamayu's village is trapped in a forested prison. Laura knows that any escape attempt is futile. Her scars are a testament to her past failures, but when her village is threatened, Laura makes a desperate deal with a Fae Lord. She convinces him that she will risk her life for wealth, but really she's after the one thing the Fae covet above all else, magic of her own. As Laura navigates the hostile world outside, she's forced to rely on two Fae males to survive. When undeniable chemistry ignites, she's not just in danger of losing her life, but her heart to the very creatures she can never trust. I love me some romantasy. I really do. I'm all for romantasy in like every capacity. And you know what? I just think that this is going to be so beautiful and so fun. And I'm so excited for it. So for this next one, the cover is really kind of what drew me in. Because I'm not really super big into historical. I feel like I've had quite a few historical novels on this list, but it's not normally something that I'm super into. But it is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden, and it is to release on February 13th of 2024. During the Great War, a combat nurse searches for her brother, believed dead in the trenches despite eerie signs that suggest otherwise, in this haunting, beautiful historical novel with a speculative twist from the New York Times bestselling author of The Bear and the Nightingale. This really just seems like a trauma, gothic-filled, like, chaos nightmare, honestly, and I'm super interested in it. This will again be one that I grabbed from the library first. I feel like this list has a lot of new authors to me that I would rather grab from the library before really like buying them. There are certain authors on this list that I will buy their books without reading them because I know that I'm going to enjoy them. And I know that they're going to be something that I want on my shelves. But then there are others like this one where I'm like, I'm super interested in this, but I'm not sure. And this cover really just like makes it an anticipated read for me. The next, we have an auto buy author for me. This author, I own 10 of her books already, so obviously I just kind of buy her books at this point, no matter what. And it is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which comes out on April 9th, 2024. The cover is stunning. That's all I really need to know. I really like where Leigh Bardugo is kind of bringing her writing. I am catching up on her backlist. I got through the Shadow and Bone trilogy this year, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. Obviously, it was very dated. It was peak like 2013 dystopian like fantasy, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. Obviously, it's not my favorite of hers, but I see why that really kickstarted her career, but I love where she's going with her books more now because she's taking it into like a gothic, like kind of vague sense, and I'm really into it. I really enjoy the way she's growing with her writing, so I just kind of buy anything that she puts out and I read anything that she puts out for the most part, and I'm going to continue to do it. So the next one is one that I saw recommended on TikTok, and I'm really intrigued by the cover of it. It is The Dead Cattail Assassins by P. Jelle Clark, and that is releasing on March 12th of 2024. I just looked up how to pronounce this author's name because I didn't want to mess it up, and there are actually quite a few books that I recognize by cover and I haven't read yet. So I didn't realize I knew who this author was, but I do know who he is. So this book is supposed to be about assassins who like have died, and if they don't kill like a specific person within a specific amount of time, then they like stay dead. They can't come back. So they take this contract to try and get their lives back, and it's like that. I just see a lot of potential in that story concept, and the cover is beautiful, and the person who recommended it to me is someone that I take recommendations from pretty seriously, so I'm very excited to see where this one goes. So the next one is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, which comes out on February 6th of 2024. This one is a cover buy. This one is absolutely a cover buy because the cover is gorgeous! An eccentric detective and her long-suffering assistant untangle a web of magic, deceit, and murder in the sparkling fantasy reimagining of the classic crime novel from the best-selling author of the Founders Trilogy. It's supposed to be like a Holmes and Watson style kind of mystery story, and I don't know. The cover is just stunning, and it's got like a female detective, and I'm just really interested in it. It is queer, so that just kind of makes it even more interesting for me. I'm excited by it, but it's not like my most anticipated on this list. So it is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jikeme Pearson, and this is yet again the cover. Like, everyone for fantasy this year is really coming out of the woodworks with their covers. They're just gorgeous. I'm obsessed with them. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. This comes out on January 18th, and it's supposed to be like a Star Wars meets Doctor Who meets Jane Austen, which are all three pieces of media that I have not consumed at all. I have not consumed anything by Star Wars or like in that realm, anything at all, ever. You just got attacked by the cat. And I've never consumed anything in regards to Doctor Who or like Jane Austen. So this is really like both a cover and a recommendation kind of buy or like vibe. So I'm just not sure, but I'm interested in it because this cover is just gorgeous. Everything about this is gorgeous, and I want to give it a chance desperately. So this next one is by an author that I became slightly obsessed with this year, and this book does not have a synopsis, it does not have a title, it does not have anything. It does have a tentative release date, which is May 23rd of 2024, and it is The Untitled Mead and Mishaps by Kimberly Ling. So I saw this, it's not really confirmed, but am I obsessed with Kimberly Ling? Yes. Yes, I am. I am obsessed with her. I fell in love with her Mead and Mishaps series this year, and I just devour anything she writes. I'm gonna keep my eye out for more information on this one. Okay, so this next one is one that I kind of forgot about. And this one makes me want to bring up a conversation, but it is Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi. It comes out on June 25th of 2024. Now, this is I believe the final book in her trilogy. The first one being Children of Blood and Bone, the second one being Children of Virtue and Vengeance. So this makes me want to talk about the concept of fast fashion in the book community right now, that we've all kind of been talking about. What an actual book timeline should really look like. I know we've got Sarah J. Maas and like Rebecca Yarros and like tons of people who are just like popping out books like crazy people. And everyone's like, I want a new like 800-page book every single year. Like I want all of this stuff right now, all the time. Like I don't want to wait for it. And I think that Tomi Adeyemi is a really good example of like working with books in an appropriate amount of time. I really respect her for taking the time that she has to write this third book and to ultimately like prioritize herself. You know, writing a book is hard. Writing a good book is hard. And I think that she writes really fantastic books. But she didn't rush herself in the extent that the book community seems to want her to. Like, in my heart, did I want this third book to come sooner than it actually did? Yes, because I really enjoy the series. But I really respect her for the time that she has taken to ensure the quality of her book. And you know, that time away has not made me less interested in this series, which I think is an important thing to kind of talk about. Children of Virtue and Vengeance came out in 2019, so it has been 5 years, which is a pretty hefty gap between books and a series, but I know that this book is coming out and it is going to be fantastic. I know that it's going to be well written. I know that it's going to be a good conclusion. I know that I'm going to be really excited to consume this, and those 5 years away have not like quelled my interest in this series at all. I'm still super interested in this, and I think that's kind of an important thing to talk about, is that our attention spans are like so short now, but also like if you're really into something, like that time away is not going to shrink your interest. If you're really interested in a book series and like the final book is coming out, like you're still going to be excited about it, even if the author takes a little bit more time writing it, and you're gonna get a better product for it. So I'm super excited for this book. It comes out on June 25th. I believe that it's the conclusion to this series. The cover is stunning. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. I'm super excited for it. The Legacy of Auresia trilogy is just a really fantastic one, and I think Tomi Adeyemi is such a fantastic author, and I really respect her quite a bit. So the next one is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrick, which comes out on July 4th of 2024. Grady Hendrick and I have mixed feelings, is the nicest way for me to put it. There are some things that he puts out that I'm super interested in. There are some things that he put out that were really just flops for me. So I read 6 books by him in total, but I read 4 of them this year. So for the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrick, I think I read that in 2022. I gave it 4 stars. The Final Girls Support Group I read in 2022. I gave it 3. My Best Friend's Exorcism I read this year and I gave it 4 stars. How to Sell a Haunted House? 4 stars. That one was his best one for me. It was so scary. It was so messed up. Horror Store, I gave 3 stars. We Sold Our Souls, I gave 2 stars. I really did not like We Sold Our Souls. So, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, I'm gonna give it a chance because he's put out some real bangers. There have been flops, but I'm seeming to like his newer stuff a little bit more, so I'm still going to give him a try. I don't own a single Grady Hendrick book, and I'm going to continue to not own them, I think. I just get them from the library. He's so popular that my library just kind of always has them, and I don't feel compelled to buy them. If that like tells you where I'm at with my relationship with Grady Hendrick. Okay, so I believe this one is my last one. And it is by an author that I read this year that I actually really, really enjoyed. So, unexpectedly enjoyed. And it is Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin. This is to release on June 11th of 2024. And it is described as But I'm a Cheerleader meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers in Cuckoo, the searing second novel from Manhunt. At a conversion therapy camp deep in the Utah desert, 6 queer teens fight for their souls and their very survival against a vile and ancient terror none of them are ready to face. So I read Manhunt and I actually really enjoyed it, which was super unexpected because it definitely had a lot of body horror in it. And I am not one to like body horror, but I am kind of obsessed with her writing style. I think that she has a fantastic writing style. I think that she makes disgusting things. Like, they're still disgusting, but it's kind of like an ironic kind of way. It's really interesting. She's a very interesting writer, is what I have to say. So I'm so excited to pick this up and see how I feel about it. This was not the last book. There's one more book, which might be my most anticipated of the year because this author is very, very special to me. Special in my heart. So this is Little Rot by Akwaeke Emezi. And it comes out on June 18th of 2024. I have not seen a single person talk about this yet, which is a crime. It is a crime that no one has started talking about this yet because Akwaeke Emezi has my heart. They really do. So this is a thrilling new novel from the best-selling award-winning author Akwaeke Emezi about 5 friends trying to outrun and outmatch a powerful underground world. Honestly, that's all I need to know. I think that they write such a wide variety of stories that I get something a little bit different from each one, and I'm always interested in whatever they put out. So I think this year the book that I read by them was Dear Centurion, and I believe I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy everything that they put out. I really want to own every single book that Okweke Emezi puts out, and I do not right now, and it is a crime. I need to get my shit together. But they just hold like a special place in my heart, and I'm just super excited for this book, and I can't wait to like start talking about it and hyping it up, because everyone needs to know that it exists, honestly, or that it is going to exist. So yeah, that brings us to the end of my most anticipated of 2024. I feel really, really, really good about some of these books, and I feel like cautiously interested in quite a few others. So we're gonna see how 2024 goes. I'm really hoping that it's gonna be a good reading year nonetheless. I definitely have some very specific goals going forward. So with that, I hope that everyone is having a fantastic day, and if there's anything that you feel like I am missing on this list that I need to keep my eye out for, please let me know. I'm always looking for recommendations, new authors, new books to pick up. So with that, I will talk to everyone later. Bye.